Day, mates, and welcome to Aussie Uncensored, where we cut through the spin and serve up the straight talk on what's really shaking up our sunburnt country. If you've been feeling like Australia's turning into a pressure cooker with no release valve, you're not alone, especially after Pauline Handson's fiery Senate speech this week that's got the whole nation buzzing like a swarm of blowflies at a Barbie. Picture this: Parliament House, usually a snooze fest of suits and sound bites, suddenly lights up like a bonfire on Australia Day as Handson unleashes a torrent of truths, or at least her version of them, backing the March for Australia rally set for this Sunday, August 31st. It's the kind of address that leaves Pollies fidgeting in their seats, and everyday Aussies nodding along from their lounges. But before we unpack the fireworks, let's hit pause and summarize the video of her speech that's gone viral faster than a cat video on TikTok. In essence, Handson's bombshell Senate rant clocks in at about 10 minutes of pure passion, where she accuses the Albanese Labour government of deliberately flooding the country with 1.5 million migrants since 2022. That's net overseas migration hitting peaks of 536,000 in 2022 to 23 alone, according to ABS stats, before dipping to 446,000 last financial year. She paints a vivid picture of a nation buckling under the weight, housing shortages turning families into nomads, rents skyrocketing like SpaceX rockets, and infrastructure groaning like an old Duda on a dirt track. Handson throws her weight behind the nationwide rallies, calling them a grassroots cry from forgotten Aussies, fed up with being sidelined. She demands a hard cap on immigration at 130,000 a year, a whopping 75% slash from recent highs. Immediate deportations for visa breachers and failed asylum seekers, and even bolder moves like banning burqas, mandating fluent English for newcomers, and pulling out of the UN Refugee Convention. She ties it all to crime spikes, cultural clashes, and hypocrisy on net zero emissions, claiming Labour's reshaping the electorate for votes, while ignoring battlers in the bush and burbs. It's raw, unfiltered populism, complete with jabs at Iranians allegedly running crime rings and Gaza arrivals as potential threats, claims that sparked backlash but resonated with her base. Now let's zoom out and chew the fat on why this matters more than your average political dust-up. Handson's not just venting, she's tapping into a vein of frustration that's as Aussie as a meat pie with sauce. Think about it. Since Labour took the reins in May 2022, we've seen net migration surpass 1 million cumulatively, per the Institute of Public Affairs, fueling a housing crunch where vacancies are scarcer than hen's teeth. Rents up 10 to 15% in major cities, young folks couchsurfing or boomeranging back home. It's no wonder polls show immigration concerns topping the charts alongside cost of living woes. But is Handson onto something, or is this just clever theater? Well, the facts back some of her gripes. Government projections admit migration's easing to 260,000 this year, but critics like the coalition argue it's still out of control, with over 700,000 international students adding to the mix. Yet Labour fires back, pointing to post-COVID rebounds and economic boosts from skilled migrants filling jobs in healthcare and tech. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke slammed the rallies as un-Australian, echoing cries from progressives like Abby Chatfield who brand M as bigoted. It's a classic divide: one side sees diversity as our strength, the other a strain on resources. What makes Handson's play so savvy is how she weaves it all into a narrative of betrayal. She's not whispering sweet nothings, she's roaring about demographic Jenga, toppling the Aussie dream. Proposing deportations for 75,000 illegals? That's red meat for those sick of visa rorts undercutting wages. Banning migration from extremist ideologies, countries? Controversial, sure, but substantiated by rising anti-Semitism reports and foreign conflict spills on our streets. And linking it to climate goals? Spot on. How do you cut emissions while adding 500,000 folks yearly? It's a masterstroke, turning immigration into the villain behind everything from clogged roads to empty wallets. For Albanese, this is a nightmare sandwich, squeezed between Handson's flag-waving patriots and his own base demanding compassion. He's juggling tougher border ops, like visa caps and student crackdowns, while avoiding alienating multicultural voters. But dismissing concerns as racism? That's like telling a bloke his burnt snag is gourmet char. It doesn't fly when families are skipping brekkie to pay bills. These rallies could be a game changer. Massive turnout means shockwaves through Canberra, forcing policy pivots before the next election. Flop, and it hands ammo to detractors painting Handson as fringe. Look, whether you reckon Handson's a hero defending the fair go or a divider stirring the pot, one thing's crystal: Australian democracy's alive and kicking, messy as a backyard cricket match. This clash pits two visions, multicultural mosaic versus cultural cohesion, head on. As we head into Sunday's marches, ask yourself, is mass migration building us up or breaking us down? Drop your 2 cents in the comments, hit subscribe for more unvarnished yarns, and remember, in the land of the laid back, sometimes you've gotta stand up. Cheers from Aussie Uncensored, stay true blue.